Hi Capricorn, welcome to the second part of your reading. So let's look at those first two cards there, Page of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. You know, part of the reason you're in your feels is because when you give someone the benefit of the doubt, when you love them despite their failings, when you overlook things that you honestly shouldn't, then it becomes very clear. It becomes even that much more clear that they're not on your side, when not only can they not hold up their end of the bargain or be equal to you, but in fact, they start telling you that maybe you're not enough for them. Maybe you're not what they want anymore. Maybe they're in a phase. Maybe well, there's a million excuses they can make. But what it does is it makes you feel really diminished. And you have two choices here. You can ignore it or hope it'll go away, or you can address it. At some point in the next 20 to 25 days, you're going to address it. And you're going to address it for the sanctity and stability of your home, or for the mere fact that you want to defend your own happiness. Now, you may not be saying, please stay with me, or please get out of this phase, or please don't do this. You could just as easily be saying, you know what? I've given you as much as I can give you. I need you to get out. Or I can't be friends with you anymore. Or I get that for a lot of you, what it is you're finally waking up to someone who's diminished you quite some, perhaps for a long time. And either it's been hidden by the veil of family or by the veil of joking, but you know what's been going on and you know how you've been feeling and you haven't said anything. But now, as of the 10th, oh, you're saying it. You're saying it at some point in the next 20, 25 days. And it's because you've finally gotten to the point where you realize that this Four of Wands is worth protecting. Whether this person wants to be a part of that emotional stability or not, you and your emotional stability are worth protecting. So that leads us to the Chariot. For a lot of you, this work that you're doing, this path that you're on, that you're roaring down now, the only thing missing from this really lively, fulfilling new life is a partner. And it's because you may still be hanging on to some pretty destructive templates of what it means to be with someone. Past experiences, other people's experiences, they may have set the tone in a way where you're just kind of like, you know, I'm happy where I am. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I don't need to add this added element. I don't need to add this element to my life and create more stress. I don't see the point. But then here comes this Ace of Cups. And while you're roaring down this chariot road, someone just, shows up. And it looks like they show up in the context of work, just astrologically. It looks like they show up while you're going about your business. The cool thing about this is they meet you on the go. They meet you when you're at your top most, right? They meet you at your height. And it's very satisfying because that's what they know of you now. So it's not like when you go into work mode, they're going to be upset or feel neglected or hurt. This is how they've gotten to know you. This is what they know of you. So it's very positive in that the face that you're showing up with is your best self. This love or this big opportunity or this new friendship is something that elevates you. It makes you reach further. It inspires you to look out beyond what you've been doing so far. And you've been doing a lot. But there is here somewhere around the 26th at the eclipse, there is this epiphany where you realize you can take it much bigger. You can expand this horizon now in a way that I don't think until now you have seen to be possible. So a lot of times what Capricorns will do is they'll see what everybody else has done and then be like, I can do that better. I can do it classier. I can do it faster. I can perfect this. But there's an interesting thing happening now. As you're on this road of perfecting the thing, this completely new, innovative idea just springs itself on you. And the funny thing about ideas is, and you may have realized this already throughout your life, is that it only stays with people but for so long. And if you don't utilize it, if you don't do anything with it, it moves on to somebody else who maybe will do something with it. So when this idea strikes you around the 26th, don't see it as this calamitous event, even though it might shake things up a little in terms of how you're proceeding so far. But realize that this new turn is something that takes your business, takes your side hustle, takes your dream career, and excuse me, gives it this really expansive reach. You're going to have to scale up, is what I'm saying. Now, you also realize on the 26th where you've been perpetually stuck in this tower moment. There is some area of your life that fell apart so brutally, or has continued to fall apart in such a brutal fashion that emotionally you've been hooked into it and you've been stuck there for quite some time. On the 26th, you figure out exactly where your feelings are tangled up, and that King of Swords, you are that. And that sword swings swiftly and cuts those cords. Right when you're supposed to let go, right when you prep yourself for that letting go, all this new work comes in and distracts you, and you can go from cutting these really toxic cords straight into doing more work, not skipping a beat. Okay? And new opportunities start to come in. You feel so much lighter after this is done. You feel new and renewed and younger and more fit and more lively and more inspired, more excited. It's all the things that you thought would happen when you started this work. But it was only after you started the work that you could really see where the holdup was. On the 13th, when Jupiter enters Pisces, you're going to want to communicate, especially about work. Just keep it chill. Communicate, of course. But Jupiter has a tendency to expand things in a way that can be almost cringe, right? So you just want to pare it down a little. Be cool, be cool. Correspondence, of course. Yes, we're networking. Yes, we're sending messages. Yes, but we're just being cool about it. Excuse me. Right after the eclipse, it's going to be time to rest, because you will have done a lot in a very short amount of time. And you need to rest, because if you don't and you keep chasing that power, chasing that paper, when you start to run into delays because of Saturn retrograde, because of Mercury retrograde, you're going to want to push through them and you can't. And then the eclipse happens and you're exhausted. So it's there's just so much. There's only so much you can do before the universe is going to tell you to sit down and take a rest. And to be perfectly honest, you haven't really rested for 6 months, maybe even a year, some of you. And now you need that deep restorative rest, a couple of days where you do just nothing. You don't think about anything. You don't do anything. You don't fulfill any of your obligations. You, in fact, cancel anything in those days, so you don't even feel like you're letting anyone down. You give yourself some time and space to just be and enjoy what you've done so far. Because the thing is, Capricorn, when you don't take a second to acknowledge what you've done and how far you've come every now and then, if you don't do this, you may not realize it yourself, but you lose motivation. So the way I've set this up in my life is that I have this formula. When I make X amount of money, every time I make X amount of money, I spend Y amount of money on myself, right? And you can put whatever variables you want in there. But it's a way for me to stay motivated. And I don't spend it on something I need. I don't spend it on something practical or pragmatic. I spend it on something I really want that's completely superfluous. It's unnecessary. But what it does is it gives me this reward for having done the hard work. And it keeps me motivated because let's be honest, even if you love what you do, even if you're absolutely head over heels passionate about your career, you still need a little bit of a carrot sometimes, you know? Can't always be the stick. So there it is, Capricorn. And I'll leave you with this. If you are in your feelings because you feel abandoned, you feel betrayed, you've got to realize that people, and I know you've heard this a million times before, and perhaps it doesn't land very well, but people never do things because of you. In fact, sometimes people do things in spite of you, right? So whatever they're telling you now that they can or cannot do, however they want to change things up, no matter how much they try to imply that it's your fault, just remain very solid in the knowledge that it has nothing to do with you at all. It's their own cowardice, it's their own inadequacy, it's their own lack of responsibility, it's their own lack of self-respect. Because you know that if you were in that situation, you know how you'd handle it. You could be having the same exact emotions as this person, but you would never handle it this way because you have an enormous amount of self-respect. Take some solace in that. I love you, love you. We're going to get into the extended right now, and we'll go through every card, and we'll go through the whole deck and figure out how each sign relates to you. That extended reading is available on Vimeo, or it is available on Patreon under the Capricorn tier or the Capricorn plus the ZA tier. Now, if you don't know what the ZA is, every other day on Instagram, we do a walking meditation where we jump. We take our consciousness and we jump through dimensions to where we want to go. It sounds pretty crazy, but declassified CIA documents back me up here. So try it out one day. Come over to @AmberCon and try it out and tell me what you think. Those walks are recorded. It is a walking meditation and a workout. So it's motivation, it's meditation, it's all the things. And those are also put on Patreon. So they're generally about 2.5 hours long. So Capricorn plus the ZA, you would be getting those walks as well as your Capricorn early reading, which was up a few days ago on Patreon. This part and the extended and all the walks, which is a lot of them. All right. Also, if you're interested in a personal reading, there's a Cameo link below. And if you've been looking at these beautiful rings, this is the Empress and this is the World. The World is going up for pre-sale next week, and the Empress is available for sale now. And actually the smaller sizes are going to be available next week as well. That link is below. Last but not least, if you were interested in a look at the astrological transits of the day and how they apply to your sun, moon, rising, come on over and join the Rev Fam on Instagram @The Quietest Revolution, where we do a daily horoscope and a look at the daily chart. All right. Love you, love you. I'll see you in the extended right now.